on Rumble. And good morning, hello, and welcome to This Day in History, aka TDH. This show is about what happened today throughout the annals of recorded history. Starting with November 18th, what do we have? In the year 326, the old St. Peter's Basilica was consecrated in Rome. Standing from the 4th to the 16th centuries, it was eventually replaced by the current basilica on the same dates, actually. Calendar date, not year, obviously, but later on we'll be talking about that. Moving on up to 401, the Visigoths, led by King Alaric I, crossed the Alps and invaded northern Italy. 794, Japanese Emperor Kammu deallocated residents of Nara to Kyoto. Alright. 1095, the Council of Clermont began, called by Pope Urban II. It led to the First Crusade to the Holy Land. Ooh. 1105, let's move on up here. 1210, Pope Innocent III was excommunicated by Holy Roman Emperor Otto IV due to him invading the Kingdom of Sicily after having promised to recognize papal control over it. That is not good. Recognizing, papacy dominion and then invading it for the papacy, that's kind of weird. 1302, Pope Boniface VIII issued papal bull, a decree/holy memo, Unam Sanctum, emphasizing the higher position of the spiritual in comparison with the secular order, claiming spiritual supremacy for the papacy. 1307, William Tell reputedly shot an apple off his son's head. Yikes. That's scary. Firing anything at, any family member, really, let alone children, not good. 1421, a dike in the Grote Hollandse Ward in the Netherlands broke, causing the Southern Sea to flood 72 villages, killing an estimated 10,000 people. This event is known today as St. Elizabeth's Flood. Moving on up to 6 centuries ago, in the year 1424, a storm flood ravaged the Dutch coast. Yikes. 1477, the first English dated printed book, Dictes and Sayings of the Philosophers, by William Caxton, was printed at his press in London. That's pretty cool. 1492, not only did Christopher Columbus sail the ocean blue, but he first sighted the island that is known today as Puerto Rico. I'm way too ahead of us over here now. Then we got 1601, Tiraki Hassan Pasha, an Ottoman provisional governor, routed the Habsburg forces commanded by Archduke Ferdinand II of Austria, whom were besieging Nagi Kazigia. And let's see here, Austria, not Austrial, so get rid of that. 1626, the new St. Peter's Basilica was consecrated in Rome, replacing an earlier basilica on the same site and becoming the world's largest Christian church. As I said earlier, and here we go. 1646, Seventh Council of Toledo of Bishops convened by Visigoth King of Hispania, extended treason laws to the clergy. Alright, so I wonder if now if clergymen can be considered treasonous or something. I wonder if what the semantics of that law is. That's rather intriguing. What else do we got here? 1686, Charles Francois Felix operated on King Louis XIV of France anal fistula after practicing the surgery on several peasants. Yikes. That sounds like some involuntary, experimentation people right there. 1718, Voltaire's first play, the tragedy Oedipe, premiered in, Oedipus? I'm not sure. Premiered in Paris, and the first use of nom de plume Voltaire by Francois-Marie Arouet. Alright. 1730, the future Frederick the Great of Prussia was granted a pardon by his father and released from confinement. Alright. That's pretty cool right there. 1750, the original Westminster Bridge across the River Thames in London was opened during a midnight ceremony. Yeah, this bridge. It's a really cool bridge. 1755, the worst quake in Massachusetts Bay Area struck Boston, although no deaths were reported. Probably because not really, a lot of, people living there, and probably didn't even have, two-story buildings by then. So, let alone anything else that can really collapse and, cause some serious damage. 1760, the rebuilt debtors' prison at the Castellania in Valletta received its first prisoners. Moving on up to 1787, the first Unitarian minister of in the U.S. was ordained, specifically in Boston, Massachusetts. 1803, the Battle of Vertières, the last major battle of the Haitian Revolution, was fought. This final defeat of French forces attempting to quell a slave rebellion in the colony of Saint Dominique led to the establishment of the Republic of Haiti, the first black republic in the Western Hemisphere. All right. It's too bad they didn't do any better, you know? 1804, Palvor Purim was first celebrated to commemorate miraculous escape. I wonder what that's all about. Then in 1812, during the Napoleonic Wars, the Battle of Krasnoy ended in a French defeat, but Marshal of France Michael Ney's leadership led to him becoming known as the bravest of the brave. The Rickest Rick and the Mortiest Morty. Here we go. 1820, Antarctica was signed by U.S. Navy Captain Nathaniel B. Palmer. All right. It's pretty cool. We spoke about that yesterday, I believe. So, you know, it really depends on what time zone you're at, you know, because today is tomorrow on the other side of the planet from where I'm at. So, or I guess today is yesterday for them. 1837, a letter by Göttingen Seven was published protesting the abolition of the Constitution of the Kingdom of Hanover by 7 professors, including Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm. The brothers Grimm are getting involved in this. That's pretty interesting there. Moving on up, 1861, the first provisional meeting of the Confederate Congress was held in Richmond, Virginia. Yeah, during the Civil War, the American Civil War, that is. 1863, King Christian IX of Denmark signed the November Constitution, which declared Schleswig to be part of Denmark. This was seen by the German Confederation as a violation of the London Protocol, which led to the German-Danish War of 1864. Yikes. 1865, Mark Twain published a short story that celebrated Jumping Frog of Calaveras County in the New York Saturday Press. King just turned off his camera there, so let me move this over here. Oh, wait. Oh, he ended his stream. Okay, well, that kind of messes with my UI, but all right. Oh, now he brought it back. Make up your mind! Doing things! 1867, an earthquake struck the Virgin Islands, triggering the largest tsunami witnessed in the Caribbean, killing dozens. Yikes.
Yeah, sorry, I'm doing everything.
Hey, how you doing, King?
I'm doing well. Something came up. I'll be back shortly.
You are very, very low. I can barely hear you. So.
It's very low.
Yeah, I have you at 200%, and I can still barely hear you. And I have my volume over here loud enough to I can even hear the music. So, yeah, you're just abysmally low. While you're fixing that, though, I'm going to move on up here. 1883, the U.S. and Canadian railroads set a synchronized 5 standard time zones, 4 of them being Eastern, Central, Mountain, and Pacific, replacing over 100 to several thousand of now previous local time zones. Can you imagine? I mean, like, you know, if you look up in the sky, like noon is when the sun is directly over you, but a mile away is going to be a minute, you know? So, you know, every mile there is a time zone or something. So they had to do something, really, you know. And it's kind of funny, despite there being 24 hours in a day, there's something like 36 some odd time zones or whatever, because some of them have a deviations of a half hour. I think even some have a 15-minute deviation. I'm not sure. Moving on up into 1889, the Oahu Railway began public service in Hawaii. All right. That's good. 1893, Pope Leo... oh, there you are. Testing.
There we go.
That's better.
Yeah, I was going through my webcam.
Ah, okay. It likes to do that.
Yeah, if something came up, I'll be right back here.
All right. Yeah, good luck with that. What is this encyclical? Let's look this up here really quick, just for hee-haws. So let's see here. That is not what I wanted to showcase quite yet, but we'll get there here in a minute. But let's see here. Images. Why am I looking at images? On the study of Holy Scripture. Okay. Let's see here. In it, he reviewed the history of Bible study from the time of the Church Fathers to the present, spoke against the errors of the rationalist and higher critics, as he said, and outlined principles of Scripture study and guidelines for how Scripture was to be taught in seminaries. He also addressed the issues of apparent contradictions between the Bible and physical science, or between the part of Scripture and another, and how such apparent contradictions can be resolved. Alright, well, there's a thing or two that I can say about that, but let's move on up. What else do we got here? 1894, Richard Alcott's early comic strip Origin of a New Species was published in World. Alright. 1899, Trumper scored 208 in 185 minutes, 1-5, 25 fours, New South Wales versus QLD. That is, of course, cricket, our favorite sport to bash on. Favorite to not be favorite. 1901, Britain and the United States signed the Hay-Pauncefote Treaty, aka the Interoceanic Ship Canal Treaty, which nullified the Clayton-Bulwer Treaty and withdrew British objections to a U.S.-controlled canal in Panama. A Panama Canal history right there. Some pretty important stuff. 1902, Brooklyn toymaker Morris Mitchum named the teddy bear after Theodore Teddy Roosevelt. And now I get to show this image. And this is obviously an AI creation, but this is terrifying. It's a werewolf Theodore Roosevelt holding what appears to be a candied, bear. That looks like it looks like a Smarties or something, So, let's see here. 1903, the Hay-Bunau-Varela Treaty was signed by the United States and Panama, giving the U.S. exclusive rights over the Panama Canal Zone. And later on, as I've mentioned before many times in the show, I know the U.S. still has jurisdiction. I think it's the water in the canal, but the actual land around the water is now owned by Panama itself, properly. So, but speaking of Panama, 1904, General Esteban Huerta stepped down after the government of Panama feared he wished to stage a coup. So that's one way to prove that you don't want to stage a coup. You step down, But then again, you can just step right back up after a coup, so I don't know what to think about that. What else do we got here? I'm trying something new, and I'll explain this later in a talk show if we ever have one of those shows later on, but yeah, let's see here. 1909, 2 United States warships were sent to Nicaragua after 500 revolutionaries, including 2 U.S. citizens, were executed by the order of Jose Santos Zelaya, whom would eventually be overthrown. All right, good. Get rid of that guy. Sounds like a horrible person. What is this? 1910? In their campaign for women's suffrage, women's voting rights, hundreds of suffragists marched to the British Parliament in London. Several were beaten by police, and newspaper attention embarrassed the authorities. The march was dubbed Black Friday. All right. Hold on a second. There we go. That works better. All right. 1911, Britain's first seaplane flew. That's pretty cool. Let's see here. 1912, a cholera outbreak, happened in Constantinople within the Ottoman Empire just before the First World War. That's pretty interesting. And let's not forget the Spanish flu came out in 1914, 1915, right at the start of World War II as well. One of these epidemics that affected the majority of the world, and it also started in China, I believe. So, despite the name being Spanish flu, 1913, this is pretty big right here. Lincoln Beachey became the first U.S. pilot to perform an aircraft loop-the-loop in his Curtiss aeroplane near San Diego. That's really awesome. 1916, in France, the British Expeditionary Force Commander General Douglas Haig finally called off the First Battle of the Somme in World War I after more than 1 million soldiers had been killed or wounded. The battle had started back on July 1st, 1916. 1 million soldiers killed or wounded. Man, just for inches of ground, even that much. So, what else do we got here? 1918, Latvia declared independence from Russia. One of the Baltic states. That's pretty cool. And then 1920, the Apollo Theater. I wonder if that's the same, the famous Apollo, later called Academy or Bryant, opened at 221 West 42nd Street, New York City. All right. Once again, I wonder if that's still, the same famous Apollo that everybody knows about today. If anybody has the answer to that question, that would be fantastic. Moving on up into 1926, George Bernard Shaw accepted the Nobel Prize for Literature, but refused the prize money, saying, quote, "I can forgive Alfred Nobel for inventing dynamite, but only a fiend in human form could have invented a Nobel Prize." And I wholeheartedly agree, especially after just giving it to Barack Hussein Obama, who's just as much white as he is black. you know. But people only care about what he looks like, not what he acts like. 1926, Pope Pius XI encyclical on persecution of church in Mexico. That's an eyebrow opening, or eyebrow raising right there. 1928, Walt Disney's Steamboat Willie was released, becoming the first fully synchronized cartoon with sound. That's pretty cool. Now that's that's in public domain, and a lot of people have figured out that Mickey Mouse is a stolen idea. So not one idea out of Disney Studios has ever been original. It's all been stolen, plagiarized, or bought. So, I mean, the Lion King is stolen from Kimba the White Lion. So, yeah. 1929, the foundation stone for Umayyad Bawan Palace was laid in Jodhpur, India. Originally built to provide employment for drought-stricken farmers, it is now one of the world's largest private residences. Oh, well, let's take a look at this palace. Let's see here. Let me get some images up here. So, Umayyad Bawan Palace. Let's see. Oh, wow. Well, it is a palace. I mean, and it is one of the world's largest residences. Look at that. That is massive, and that is a gorgeous building. I can't fathom that being just a house. You know, like that's just ridiculous. What else do we got here? 1929, the Grand Bank submarine underwater, so like a submarine, not like a vessel, but a submarine earthquake, so an underwater earthquake, struck off the coast of Newfoundland in the Atlantic Ocean with a Richter magnitude of 7.2. This was centered on the Grand Banks. It broke 12 submerged transatlantic telegraph cables in 28 places and triggered a tsunami that destroyed many South Coast communities in the Bruin Peninsula. Yikes. Let's see here. There's a lot of weird words in this one. So 1930, Soka Kyoiku Gaki, a Buddhist association later renamed Soka Gaki, was founded by Japanese educators Sunsaburo Makuguchi and Joshi Tada. Alright. Pretty cool. 1932, Flowers and Trees received the first Academy Award for a cartoon. Alright, I gotta catch up over here on the main source here. What else do we got here? Moving on up, blah, blah. Okay, well, 1936, Germany and Italy recognized the Spanish government of Francisco Franco. Of course they did. Those freaking fascists. All three of them. 1936, the main span of the Golden Gate Bridge was joined. Alright, that's a big thing right there. Finally being able to cross over that, body of water. Even though the Golden Gate Bridge is not as long as the other bridge that we spoke about, the Oakland Bay Bridge, the other day, it's a lot more known. So, what else do we got here? 1940, George Matsky, New York City's Mad Bomber, placed his first bomb at a Manhattan office building used by Consolidated Edison. This is the discrepancy. We already covered this either yesterday or the day prior. I don't remember, but I remember this article, specifically. We are getting joined by
the Golden Loan.
Welcome to the show. How you doing today?
Good, I'll get it.
Yeah. Let me help you out there.
You need a chair.
Yes, you do. So,
Okay.
we're already in 1940 here during World War II. Yeah, well, I've just been spitting them off, and I really haven't had the time to as I usually do, because I'm starting a whole new process, as I alluded to earlier. So, I'm just going around.
How's that working?
Fairly well. I mean,
First time, it's probably good then.
Yeah, so, anyway, 1940, during World War II, German leader Adolf Hitler and Italian Foreign Minister Galeazzo Ciano met to discuss Benito Mussolini's disastrous Italian invasion of Greece. Yeah, so,
Didn't go well, I take it.
Well, Italy was not ready for World War II. I mean, they literally just conquered, what's that name?
They always seem to be the weak link in the, whatever they were called.
Yeah. Well,
what were they were the Allies and then...
Axis.
Axis, thank
you. Well, interestingly enough, I think Italy coined the term Axis.
Oh, really?
Because, they are an axis of power, a wheel axis,
Well, they were the first one to really be... I mean, Hitler came later, and of course, Japan came later also.
Yeah. Well, Mussolini here invented fascism.
Yeah.
So... And speaking of that, 1 year later here, Benito Mussolini's Italian forces left Abyssinia/Ethiopia due to being forced out by Allied attacks. That's what I was thinking of. They had conquered Ethiopia just before the outbreak of World War II. They were not ready for a conflict of that magnitude. And, you know, Mussolini knew that Hitler idolized him, so he couldn't, you know, he couldn't be weak.
Right.
So he put himself too thin, and he tried to invade Greece, and it was a disaster. And Germany had to come and bail him out, and then, you know, it just got worse from there.
Yeah.
You know, for good old, like, you know, Mussolini there. But let's see here. I'm just, you know, doing really quick reading here. 1943, during the Battle of Berlin of World War II, 444 Royal Air Force planes bombed Berlin, causing only light damage and killing 131 people. The RAF losing 9 aircraft containing 53 aircrew during that
How could you only do
sortie.
light damage with
444 bombs. Well, I mean, they're just carpet bombing everything. You know, most of the bombs would have probably just like blew up streets or countrysides.
Well, they didn't
I'm
have
not
precision back then.
No,
that's
absolutely
for sure.
not. So, however, I did see something about the ball turret, you know, in the bombers that we have, and the technology that went into that is just amazing. Like, they had some kind of system that it's a rangefinder, and it adjusts your crosshairs to the range, so that way, like you know, if something's farther away, you can still hit it. You know, with, and it's like analog, you know, automatic targeting system, and it blew my mind. I had no idea they had tech like that back then. You know, so. But 1943, the first U.S. ambassador to Canada, Ray Altherin, was nominated. All right.
First ambassador from where, though?
U.S.
Oh, U.S.
The first United States ambassador to Canada.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I just got ambassador, not U.S.
yeah.
Okay.
So just 2 years before you were born. I guess they were getting ready.
3 years.
Oh, 3 years. That's right. Okay. Let's see here. 1944, the Popular Socialist Youth was founded in Cuba. That's not good.
No. Although what's his name wasn't around in 44. That was still Batista.
Yeah, it was. Was Batista in 44, or was that somebody else before that?
He may have been someone before that. I'm not sure when Batista actually came along. I know he was. That's who. What's his name? Conquered was Batista.
Castro.
Yeah.
You're talking about the current Prime Minister of Canada's dad, true father.
Yeah.
1949, the Irva Valley shooting occurred after the coal miners of Enugu in Nigeria went on strike over withheld wages. 21 miners were shot dead, with 51 others wounded by police under the supervision of the British Colonial Administration of Nigeria. That is disgusting.
You know, it's never a good idea to withhold wages.
No.
You want to get people pissed off? Hold my wages for me. Thank you very much.
Oh, well, here's something that's an eyebrow raiser.
1950.
1950, yeah. Oh, well, you saw that? You can read it?
Yeah. If I get far enough back, I guess I can.
Well, why don't you read it?
No, I can't. I can't read it well. I just see 1950 kind of.
Oh, give it a
stands out.
shot.
South Korea president Sigmund Freud. No.
Wrong Sigmund.
Sigmund Lee. I can't see.
Re.
Was forced to end. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mass executions.
Yeah, please.
Yes,
like,
please do.
South Korea,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
our ally, doing.
Yeah.
Oh, well, let's bury that under the bridge. So. That's 1951. Former Cubs first baseman and future TV star of Rifleman Chuck Connors became the first player to oppose the Major League Draft.
Yeah. The rifleman.
Yeah. 1955, the Bell X-2 rocket plane taken up for the first powered flight. Let's take a look at this Bell
Just
X-2
a
rocket
side
plane.
note, and I'm going just by hearsay.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, your dad brought the rifleman over to dinner one night
Huh.
when she was a kid.
My dad?
No, her dad.
Oh.
Your
Wait.
mom's dad.
Oh, Grandpa Bill?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, he did serve. You know, he would know those people.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know the circumstances, but he was around that area. He was up in Hollywood and all that stuff.
Oh.
So he was in the neighborhood. Sounds like something Uncle Bill.
Yeah.
I mean,
Grandpa Bill.
would, do.
1956, Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev said the phrase, quote, "We will bury you," end quote, to Western ambassadors at a reception at the Polish embassy in Moscow. I wonder how well that worked out.
What did it say? We will what?
We will bury you.
Oh, bury you. Okay.
Yeah, that's adorable. That's so cute. Look at cute little Khrushchev. Oh, how cute.
Except someone took a shovel.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. 1957, Tunisia refused Russian weapons. And Tunisia is in Africa.
Yeah, I
and
wonder why they refused it.
Probably because they didn't want anything to do with becoming like a proxy war, you know.
They knew they were going to have to pay for them.
Yeah. So, let's see here. 1959, Ben-Hur, directed by William Wyler and starring Charlton Heston, premiered in New York City, later receiving the Academy Awards Best Picture of 1960.
That was a huge production.
Oh, yeah,
movie.
Ben-Hur.
For the day, it was just huge.
1960, Charlie Finley made a bid to purchase expansion LA Angels.
Charles Finley?
Charlie Finley.
Yeah.
Yeah, Charles Finley,
Yeah,
Charlie
that's
Finley.
when the Angels were coming to town.
It's not Charlie Murphy! Pow! You know?
But I don't think he won the bid. I think, what's his name did? The Cowboy.
Maybe, yeah. Well, he
Yeah.
just said he made a bid, didn't say anything about winning.
Yeah,
you know?
no, he
So,
didn't get it. What's his name? I can't remember. The original owner of the Angels.
I have no idea. 1960 as well, the Copyright Office issued its 10 millionth registration. 10 millionth. I mean, like, and I when it comes to millions and stuff, I like to actually make it the number because it's easy to just read like 10 and then the word million.
Yeah.
But once you add the zeros, and you can start seeing how big that number really is.
Yeah.
You know, when you start getting into the billions or like, you know, the trillions, it's just like, you know, and do you know what a googolplex is?
I do, but I can't tell you right now. What is a googolplex?
It's a 1 with 25 zeros after
there
it.
There you go. I knew it was a bunch.
Yeah. Let's see here. 1961, U.S. Ranger 2 was launched to the moon, but it failed. That's unfortunate right there. 1963. Now we have two 63s here, and I think they they obviously do coincide with another. But we have Bell Telephone introduced the touch-tone telephone to customers in Pennsylvania. You know, so instead of like
Well, it was a rotary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, this is a touch tone.
Yeah, this is. I think.
Yeah.
Up until now, it was just rotaries.
Yeah, and then we also have the first push button telephone went into service. So that makes sense. If you have touch tone, then you have to have something to touch to make the tone.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So. Moving on up here, 1963, King Hassan II opened the first parliament in Morocco. Good. Let's see here. 1964. This one, I really do not. This does not give him points at all. J. Edgar Hoover described Martin Luther King Jr. as, quote, a most notorious liar, end quote. There was so much stuff, and again, it's borderline proven that the CIA and our government did a bunch of stuff to try to get rid of that guy. It wasn't like, hasn't it been proven that MLK's assassinator was an agent of the state or something like that?
I won't go that far, but I also won't say that they didn't have it. Hoover was not a good guy. I mean, he was power hungry, and he was there forever.
Oh yeah,
and
I think he's the guy who gave that tear gas pen to Little Orphan Annie, or what's her face, we spoke about this the other day.
Yeah.
Gave her a tear gas pen because she got
her name.
Shirley Temple.
Shirley Temple.
Yeah. Okay. But apparently he was also a cross-dresser too, from what Sohan
I've heard that
said.
before too. I don't know how true that is, but I've heard that.
Yeah. Well,
But he was not a good guy.
Yeah. Well, he was a Democrat,
Super
right?
power hungry.
He was a Democrat,
I
right?
have no idea.
Oh.
He just was in charge of the whole thing over there.
Well, he certainly acts like one.
Power.
Yeah. 1966, Brooklyn/Los Angeles Dodgers pitcher Sandy Koufax announced his retirement due to an arthritic left elbow.
But let's get it right. Sandy Koufax.
Koufax, sorry.
One of my pitching heroes.
I see the U when I was in Koufax. It's like, like...
You're doing my hero disservice.
I'm sorry. I guess I'm illiterate. I don't know. 1966 as well, U.S. Roman Catholic bishops ended rules against eating meat on Fridays. All right,
that
yeah.
was a big deal for Catholics.
Yeah, well, like, that was back in the day where
Yeah.
it was actually like harder to get meat and all that stuff. It was a conservation thing,
Well,
It-
maybe originally, but not in the '60s for sure. We had plenty of everything.
Well, yeah, that's why they ended it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why since then, like I'm not sure exactly what year, but the papacy, Vatican City, has gotten a lot more loose. Like what a fitting term. With abortions and with prophylactics and birth control and all that stuff, because
I don't think with abortions they have.
well, probably not with abortions, but with birth control and all that
Maybe.
stuff.
Because in the day you weren't even allowed to do birth control.
Because that was back in the day where you have 9 kids and 8 of them died.
Yeah.
Nowadays you have 9 kids and 10 of them survive.
Well, you're
somehow.
going way back.
Yeah. Well, but the same thing with the fish, like
Well, in the
because
'60s they weren't having 8 kids. It was very rare. I remember one big Catholic family.
yeah.
That's
Well, the
only one
Hispanics
that I
are.
know of. Huh?
The Mexicans are.
But they're not having that many.
Oh yeah,
kids.
they are. I mean, like what's his face? Hot Pockets comedian guy. He has like 7 children. I'm not kidding.
Oh. Oh yeah, Kerrigan. Or
No.
not Kerrigan.
Kerrigan.
Yeah. Gaffigan.
Gaffigan, Jim Gaffigan. Thank you. Good pull. Thank you.
Kerrigan's close.
Nancy Kerrigan. So. Moving on up, what do we got here? Let's just take this one. 1969, prosecutor Vincent Buglisi was assigned to the Tate and LaBianca murders, eventually leading to the conviction of Charles Mason for orchestrating the killings.
That's Manson.
Manson.
Yeah.
Manson.
Oh,
Manson.
that was horrible.
Manson.
Jeez, just horrible.
Charles, it's Manson?
Yeah, Charles Manson.
Okay, so they mistook right there. So Manson, all right. That was just like a shot in the dark. I was just like, randomly throwing a dart at a, corkboard essentially here.
That was horrific.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's awful.
He's the guy with the swastika on his forehead,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Thankfully, he's dead now. 1970, U.S. scientist Linus Paulding declared large doses of vitamin C could ward off colds. This was never proven definitively, but I mean, it helps.
Yeah.
Like you need
I
vitamin
was a
C.
big one of that. When I felt the cold coming on, I just start pumping vitamin C. Then I'm
Yeah,
out.
drink orange juice.
It's not
drink-
good if you do it excessively. I mean, I take 5, 6, 7 thousand whatever it is called
milligrams.
milligrams a day.
Wow,
Pop
that's
'em like crazy.
that actually can start damaging your liver.
Yeah,
That's too
that's
much.
what I heard. Then I stopped.
That's
that.
too much.
Yeah.
But see, here, look at this picture of this guy. I wouldn't take medical advice from this dude. Look at that. Like he has,
A rope around his neck.
well, he has a tie and he has a rope, and it looks like it's tied behind the tie.
Yeah.
I mean, like
That's a weird photo.
it is. He looks like a weird guy, but and I am a champion of
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You're talking weird guys. Okay.
yeah, I mean, like I'm a master at weird. So yeah.
Oh, I see the clip-on tie.
Yeah, right here, let's see here, yada yada yada. 1970, Russia landed a self-propelled rover on the moon. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And 1970, U.S. President Richard Nixon asked U.S. Congress for $155 million in supplemental aid for the Cambodian government. Once again, we're providing all this aid to all these other countries, and that's all fine and good. Meanwhile, our infrastructure is dying, and if we don't take care of domestic, we'll have nothing left for international. It's very easy, right in our face crap that we can't seem to figure out. Then again, I'm one to talk. I'm always, throwing myself, on the fire for other people. You know how I am. So. Let's see here. 1974, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, album by English progressive rock band Genesis, was released, or album by English progressive rock band Genesis, becoming their last feature original frontman, or becoming their last 2 feature original frontman Peter Gabriel. I gotta learn how to read. What else do we got here? MLB New York Yankees in 1976 signed free agent pitcher Don Gullitz. All right. Ooh. 1976, this is a big one. Spain's parliament established democracy after 37 years of dictatorship.
Whoa.
And that's after Francisco Franco died.
Way after.
Yeah. He died in 70-something.
Oh, he did that close. Okay.
Yeah. Well, hold on a second. Let me look this up
I
here.
thought he was gone in 50s, maybe
No.
60s.
He made it up until 74. Francisco
But then it'd be
Franco.
right after him.
Yeah, it would be. Francisco Franco. Let's see here. He died. It's saying 73, a bunch of 75. Oh, here we go. November 20th, 1975.
Okay.
So, yeah, all right. This one is very big here. 1978, good thing I saw this. In Jonestown,
Ooh.
Guyana, 918 members of the People's Temple were murdered or committed
Oh,
self-deletion under the leadership of cult leader Jim Jones.
Yeah.
909 of them in Jonestown itself, which included over 270 children.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And that's where the term "drink the Kool-Aid" comes from. So literally, that's where it comes from. I'm not making a joke. That's
No,
really
I know,
actually where it
I
comes
know.
from. I know you know. I'm just letting the audience know. 1980 Heaven's Gate film, directed by Michael Kimo, starring Chris Christopherson and Christopher Walken, premiered, becoming one of the biggest box office bombs ever.
Bombs, huh?
Yeah. Well, you know.
I know the name of the movie and
I've
I know
heard
the
of it.
actors, but I don't remember the movie.
But wasn't
itself.
there a Heaven's Gate massacre or something? Like, wasn't there a historical event about Heaven's Gate or something like that? I'm
That
not sure.
aware of. But
No.
there could be.
Yeah. We spoke about this about 3 days ago here. 1982, South Korean boxer Duk Koo Kim died from injuries sustained during a 14-round beating by Ray Mancini in Las Vegas due to this, WBC shortened title bouts to 12 rounds. WBA and WBO followed in 1988 and IBF in 1989.
Wait a second. Ray Mancini was something to do with music.
Now, you're thinking about Ray Mangione? Or Chuck Mangione?
That was Ray Mancini.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Well, he was a boxer in this event, so
Yeah.
maybe he was a musician. I'm not sure. 1983, and this one raised an
He's a
eyebrow.
composer or something.
Argentina announced its ability to produce enriched uranium for nuclear weapons. Well, that
Ooh,
explains
that's not
why
good.
the Nazis went there.
Yeah.
Or maybe the Nazis are behind that.
Maybe they brought it with them.
Yeah. You know, I'm just like, that's a little weird. So, 1983, MGM/UA released nostalgic holiday film A Christmas Story, starring Peter Billingsley and Darren McAven, based on anecdotes from humorist Gene Shepard.
Yep.
So that's the one I'm A Christmas Story with Ralphie, right?
Yeah.
You'll shoot your
Yes,
eye out.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, you're
All
talking
right.
about you saw the second.
The sequel,
one,
yeah. Yeah. We were talking about that on our walk the other day.
Yeah.
1984, Browns set team record for most sacks at 11. I wonder if that record still stands today.
Probably not. That's a bunch of sacks, though.
Yeah, it is.
Do you know what a sack is?
Like something you put potatoes in?
Well, you're right.
Well, I have one of them too, naturally.
Unfortunately, it's empty.
What the hell is that supposed to mean? Are you calling me sterile?
A sack is when the quarterback goes to pass and you tackle behind the line of scrimmage. That's a sack.
Ah, okay. All right. 1984, this one's actually pretty cool. The Soviet Union helped deliver U.S. wheat during the Ethiopian famine. You know, so let bygones be bygones. We got to do humanitarian stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we'll get back to killing each other later. You know. Let's see here. 1985, Paul McCartney released film's theme single "Spies Like Us." Ooh, and this one I really enjoyed. 1985 as well. The first comic of Calvin and Hobbes was published in 10 newspapers. You remember Calvin and Hobbes,
Yeah,
right?
I would have thought it went further back than that. 85 is
Yeah.
fairly recent.
Well, for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a couple years before I even came to this earth.
Yep.
No. 1987, the King's Cross fire occurred in London, resulting in 31 deaths at the city's busiest underground tube station, King's Cross St. Pancras. So, that's not good. Oh, in 1987, speaking of my birth year right there, a congressional committee reported on the Iran-Contra affair.
Oh.
Yeah. Ever since seeing, that Reagan movie, like, I just think, whenever I see Iran-Contra, I'm like, hey, I remember that, So. 1989, Pennsylvania became the first to restrict abortions after U.S. Supreme Court gave states the right to do so. All right, yeah, dude, like how about that? The Supreme Court gave states the right. Oh, let's give you back what we took.
And now, they've given it back to them now.
Yeah, yikes. What else do we got here? 1991, the Auburn's men's basketball team was placed on a 2-year probation for recruiting violations and made not eligible for postseason play during 1991 and 92. Whoopsie doodles. I wonder what happened with that everything.
Well, they broke the rules for recruiting. Could be payola, it could be anything.
Yeah. 1991, Shiite Muslim kidnappers in Lebanon released Anglican Church envoys Terry Waite and Thomas Sutherland. Good. And 1991 as well, the autonomous Croatian community of Herzing, Bosnia, which would in 1993 become a republic, was established in Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Yeah.
All right. That's good.
After they did a bunch of warring over there.
Yeah. 93, U.S. rock band Nirvana filmed a mostly acoustic set at Sony Music Studios in New York City for the television series MTV Unplugged. And I wonder if they even played that, because we all know, MTV stands for music television, and they did, no music television. Like,
what do you mean they didn't know music television?
well, it's a meme. It's like, like the 50th year anniversary of MTV. Let us thank MTV for 12 years of music videos. After 50 years.
Yeah.
It's a whole joke that they never do actual music television. So, 1993 as well, black and white leaders of 21 political parties in South Africa approved a new democratic constitution, expanding voting rights and ending white minority rule. Good. About time. About bloody time.
Yeah. Let the people speak.
Yeah. 1993, in the United States of America, the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, was approved and passed by the U.S. House of Representatives.
Yeah.
So that's North America. It's U.S., Canada, Mexico, Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico's already part of the United States.
Yeah, but that's North America. I'm just
basically
covering
Canada, Mexico, and the U.S.
Yeah.
And
I'm just covering
Trump redid the deal. His first term.
Wow, we're just stuck in 93 here. Pearl Jam lead singer Eddie Vedder was arrested for public drunkenness. That kind of comes with the territory of being in that thing. So, here we go. 1996. Hold on, I gotta try to catch up over here. Eapin family hired Louise Woodward as their nanny, or Louise Woodward. Later, she was charged with murder and convicted of involuntary manslaughter. So, and trying to, her. She probably looks familiar to you, but I recognize that face. She was a murderer. So.
I don't recognize it at all. Nor do I want to.
Yeah. Let's see here. Yada, yada, yada. Let's just... 1997, 70s glam rock star Gary Glitter, his real name Paul Gadd, was arrested by British police in a child bad picture probe. This guy liked children a little too bad, a little too much.
I don't know why the term glam just bugs me. I don't like that term.
It's flashy. It's like, glam.
I know what it is, but just glam.
No, I get exactly what you're saying. Like, it's kind of flashy. It's like, we're glamorous. Pay attention to us.
Say glamorous to me. Just don't go glam. Please
Glam.
don't. God, I don't know why. I just like it.
Glam bam, thank you, ma'am.
I don't think it's glam bam.
Okay, wham glam?
Slam bam, thank you, ma'am, or something. I don't know. It's not glam.
Thank goodness I didn't make you choke.
Yeah.
1997, Metallica released the album Reload. Metallica.
Oh. Who the hell is Metallica?
I learned that pronunciation from Alice when we were talking about on this very show a while ago. About Metallica becoming the first band or the first music group to have played on all 7 continents when they played on Antarctica.
Oh, wow.
Now, I don't think they were the first to play in Antarctica, but, they were the first to play on all 7 continents of the world.
What the hell are you doing down in Antarctica?
To get the record.
So you just set up in the snow somewhere, in the ice.
Yeah, well, let me look up, this really quick. Hold on. Metallica Antarctica. Because it wasn't like a huge venue, because it's Antarctica.
No, it wouldn't be.
But I mean, like, here they are. There's that dome, they're out here, and then they're in the snow. But there's people there.
There's a lot of people.
So, yeah.
The whole continent's there.
Yeah, all 47. 1997, a rare black pearl necklace was auctioned for a record $902,000. That's a lot of money right there. In 1999, in College Station, Texas, 12 were killed and 27 injured at Texas A&M University when a massive bonfire, the Aggie bonfire, collapsed while under construction.
Yikes.
So it wasn't on fire, but they were building it.
Just they build these huge
Yeah.
bonfires.
Yeah. So
That one went bad before it ever got lit.
Yeah, that's really bad. Let's see here. 2002, Dark Horse / EMI posthumously released Brainwashed, George Harrison's 12th and final studio album. Well, if it wasn't his final, I'd be very concerned.
Yeah.
So, what else do we got here? 2002, freaking eye is being itchy as all hell. I need to invest in eye drops. Like, eyes have been bothering me lately. Mercury National Records released Up, the fourth studio album by Shania Twain, later receiving the Billboard Album of the Year 2003. I don't know why I read that. Who cares what you freaking do? Moving on up into 2003, Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court ruled 4-3 in Goodrich versus Department of Public Health that the state's ban on same-sex marriage was unconstitutional and gave the state legislature 180 days to change the law, making Massachusetts the first state in the United States of America to grant marriage rights to homosexual couples. Okay. Once again, if they want to be miserable, let them be miserable. Screw it.
Why would they be miserable?
Because they're getting married.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
Exactly.
Join the crowd, right?
You know, if they really want the government to be the third wheel in their relationship, fucking let them. You know? 2005, 20th Century Fox released Walk the Line, starring Joaquin Phoenix as Johnny Cash and Reese Witherspoon as June Carter, and directed by James Mangold. Witherspoon later won an Academy Award. Okay.
That was an okay movie.
Yeah. 2011, the X Factor group One Direction released their debut album, Up All Night, in Ireland and the UK. Okay, whatever. I don't care about One Direction. You know, One Direction needs to go One Direction away. So.
Never heard of them.
2012, Israeli Gaza rocket strikes killed 80 alleged terrorist targets. You know, well, when you can manipulate things, you can say whatever you want to validate whatever. Killing is killing. I don't care, who you are. So, just needs to stop. 2015, Kangaroo Dundee wildlife TV series premiered featuring Brogla and Roger the Ripped Kangaroo on BBC Two. And he was an Well, this is why he's called Roger the Ripped Kangaroo.
Oh, okay.
Like, good God, just beefy, but yeah. He was an internet sensation for a while.
Really?
Yeah. Oh man, but going from that to this, 2015, two female self-deletion bombers aged 18 and 11, an 11-year-old, blew themselves up in Kano, Nigeria, killing 15 and injuring over 100. An 11-year-old.
Oh, man.
Man, people don't really realize how easy, the brain is just 10 pounds of fat controlled by electrical and chemical impulses. If you really don't think that people can be easily manipulated through one way or another, good, bad, ugly, you don't know anything. An 11-year-old.
Yeah.
That's just awful. 2015, U.S. singer-songwriter Willie Nelson received Library of Congress Gershon Prize at the Thomas Jefferson Building in Washington, D.C. All right. And, a friend of mine, mentioned that he wants to get to the point where he can outsmoke Willie Nelson and Snoop Dogg. Despite him only taking edibles, he thinks he can magically, it'll equate to that somehow. And it's just dude, you can't even smoke out me. Come on, dude, get real. Moving on up, 2018. Oh, wow, here we go. U.S. missionary John Allen Chau was killed on the forbidden North Sentinel Island in the Bay of Bengal by one of the world's most isolated tribes. The North Sentinelese. Have you heard about that? There's a whole thing around that. They're an uncontacted tribe, and they just kill anybody. If you get too close. So there's a law prohibiting within a certain diameter you cannot get too close to the island, because they will come out to you and they will spear you and they will bow and arrow you. They've bowed and arrowed helicopters trying to fly over and everything. They are violent people.
Protecting their turf.
Yeah. 2019, a book written by Charlotte Bronte at the age of 14 for her toy soldiers was bought by the Bronte Society for 600,000 euros at auction in Paris. That's a pretty expensive book right there.
Yeah.
Let's see here. In 2019, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo reversed U.S. policy regarding Israeli West Bank settlements as illegal after 24 years. About time.
He didn't have the authority to do that.
Well,
As Secretary of State.
well, the UN didn't have authority to just make a country, but they did.
Well,
So-
I guess policy. I guess he can set policy, so yeah, I
Yep.
guess he can.
And this
Not a
one's
law.
very laughable. In 2019, world wind speeds have risen 3 times faster since 2010 than previous decades of decline, according to Princeton study published in Nature Climate Change. You know, if the winds are 3 times faster, we should all be getting blown around constantly. What a crock of crap.
Yeah.
Environmentalism, stupid. You know? 2020, floods and landslides affected more than 3 million people, killing at least 70 in the wake of Typhoon Vanco in the Cagayan province in the Philippines. Let's see here. It's 2021. U.S. judge exonerated Muhammad Abdul Aziz and Khalid Islam for the killing of Malcolm X in 1965, saying they were, quote, wrongly convicted, end quote, after 55 years. I don't know about that. So, and last but not least, 2022, the International Bureau of Weights and Measures voted to abandon the leap seconds. This is to take effect in 2035. So 11 years from now.
Yeah.
Originally inserted in 1972 to reconcile atomic and astronomical timescales. All right.
They're a little off. They're not that accurate.
Yeah. And that shall conclude the show. You know, once again, please check the underbar of the description below for any links that you may find interesting, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. A lot of history happens, you know, on a daily basis, and we can only bring you a portion. Please check, you know, the underbar for all of the sources that we utilize. For your dose of past events daily, we stream every day, or at least try to, at 11 in the morning Pacific Time, 12 noon Mountain, 1 Central, and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. We do have other shows, from history to news, movie reactions and reviews, gaming, videos and memes, Omni Coalition, Omni Kitchen, and everything else in between on Talk Show. Check the underbar. For all of you and all of us, I am A.O. Xander.
Golden Loon.
And we had good Sir King here. And, of course, you viewer are you. Before I head out, do we have any comments whatsoever? Nope. But, yeah, until you guys catch us next time, whenever that is, wherever that is, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, then subscribe. Toodles! Alright. And y'all, and...